to Make It, the indie film podcast.
Welcome to Summaries. Let's dive in. I'm Alex Ivy.
And I'm Allison Inverness.
So today we're looking at the career, the philosophy, and frankly, the very strange brain of one Tim Duggan.
Yeah, strain is a good word for it.
Usually, when we talk about a creative journey, it's a pretty standard script, right?
Yeah.
Kid likes drawing, goes to art school, kid struggles, makes it.
The standard stuff, and Tim's story is not that.
Not even close. We're talking about a guy who started out training to fly airplanes and ended up filming underground music sessions and investigating cockfighting rings.
It's quite the trajectory. And just to set the context for everyone listening, the source material we're pulling from today is an episode of the Make It podcast.
Right, hosted by Chris Barkley and Nick Bugs.
Exactly. And they create this summary series to really distill these, long-form conversations into something you can actually use.
And there's so much to use here. Tim Duggan is a videographer, photographer, co-owner of Five Folds Creative.
And a partner at the YouTube channel Gems on VHS.
Right. But I don't want to just list his LinkedIn profile. I want to start in the cockpit. Because this image is just stuck in my head.
It is a great image.
So, picture this. It's the mid-2000s. Tim is at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Daytona Beach? Yeah.
This is like the Harvard of the sky. If you go there, you are going to be a pilot. And he is literally in the plane, headset on, thousands of feet in the air.
And this is where it all goes wrong, because when you're flying a plane, there is a checklist, a very, very important checklist that, keeps the plane from falling out of the sky.
And Tim is just
ignoring it.
Completely ignoring it.
Yep. Instead of memorizing approach vectors or something, he's reading technical manuals about digital photography. And
we aren't talking about lighting 101 here.
Oh no. He is deep in the weeds reading about the actual physics of sensors.
This is what cracked me up. He said he was obsessing over CMOS versus CCD sensors. So for the non-camera nerds listening, which is probably most of us, can you just briefly explain what on earth he was studying?
Sure. So CMOS and CCD are they're basically the two different types of chips that cameras use to turn light into digital data. It's about how they handle electricity.
Okay.
And he was also studying Bayer patterns.
Bayer pattern.
It's the specific grid of red, green, and blue color filters on top of a sensor. Without it, a digital camera would only see in black and white. It is deep engineering stuff.
So he's doing physics homework in the cockpit.
He is. He realized that while he was, 5 steps behind on actually flying the plane, he was miles ahead of everyone on how electronic imaging worked.
So what happened?
Well, he clocked 35 flight hours, but his last 5 lessons were just him failing to land the plane because his brain was somewhere else entirely.
So he washes out.
He pivots hard. He transfers to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. But what's interesting is he admits he didn't go for the art program.
Right.
He went because tuition was cheap and his friends were there. He stumbled into it.
I feel like that's how a lot of great careers actually start. But then he meets these two professors, Paul Lee and Baldwin Lee, and they just tear his world apart, right?
They really do. Because up to this point, Tim is a tech nerd. He knows the sensors, the Bayer patterns, all of it. He can take a technically perfect photo,
right.
But it was empty. He called his own work vapid. It was pretty, it was sharp, but there was nothing there. His professors taught him that pretty is just the baseline. It's not the goal.
So what's the goal?
The inquiry.
The inquiry.
Yeah. It's the shift from how do I capture this to asking, why does this even matter? It's about having a dialogue with your work. Are you just recording it or are you asking a question about it?
That's the difference between a technician and an artist.
That's what he was becoming.
That all sounds great, philosophically, but let's be real. You can't pay your rent with inquiry.
You cannot. And that brings us to the part of this deep dive that I think has the most value for anyone listening, whether you're a photographer or, a coder.
We need to talk about the farmer's mentality.
Yes.
This is the biggest takeaway for me, because most freelancers, and I include myself in this, we operate with a hunter mentality.
Right. You need to eat, so you go out, you kill something, bring it home.
And then you get hungry again and you panic.
Exactly. It's feast or famine. Tim realized that if you want to survive, you have to stop hunting and you have to start farming.
But the way he explains it is it's kind of painful to hear if you're impatient like me.
Why painful?
Because farming takes so much time.
It does. Tim says his biggest mistake early on was thinking that being a creative meant you just sat around making art.
The fun stuff.
The fun stuff. He had to learn that he is actually a salesperson who occasionally gets to make videos.
Oof. A salesperson who occasionally makes videos. I mean, that's going to hurt some feelings.
It hurts because it's true. The farmer mentality means you are constantly planting seeds. But, and here's the kicker, seeds don't grow overnight.
So if you wake up today with no money and you start making sales calls,
those calls aren't for today. They're for 6 months from now.
6 months.
That's the lag time. The work you're getting today is the result of a seed you planted half a year ago. You know, you met someone for coffee, you sent a helpful email, you commented on their post, you watered that relationship.
And now it's finally bearing fruit. So if you're freaking out about money right now...
It's because you didn't plant seeds 6 months ago. Precisely. And that requires a massive amount of discipline. You have to be doing that sales work, the planting, even when you're busy.
So the next crop is ready when the current one ends.
You got it. But there's another layer to his business advice that I found fascinating. He talks about the opaque marketplace.
Right, the fact that there's no Kelly Blue Book for creative work. If I need a plumber, I know roughly what that costs.
Sure.
But if I need a music video directed, is that $500?
Yeah.
$5,000? $50,000? Nobody knows.
It is a total mystery to the client. So how do they decide? They don't interview 50 people. They just don't have the mental bandwidth for that.
So Tim has this theory.
The rule of 3. He believes that at any given moment, for any given job, a client only has 3 names in their head. That is it.
Just 3 people.
Who can shoot this video, and their brain spits out Tim, Sarah, or Mike.
So the game isn't be the best video director in the world.
No. The game is be on the list of 3. And you get on that list not by being some kind of genius, but just by being present, by waving your hand, by reminding them you exist.
It's a memory game, not just a talent game.
That is actually incredibly liberating, isn't it? It takes the pressure off. You don't have to be better than everyone else. You just have to be top of mind.
And probably easy to work with.
Oh, never underestimate the power of just not being a nightmare to deal with.
So true. Okay, speaking of nightmares, we do need to talk about the time period this was recorded in. This was during the height of the COVID-19 lockdowns.
Right, the savor-at-home mandates. A terrifying time for someone like Tim, whose job requires being on location with people.
And he had that essential worker crisis, we all remember. That is what I do actually necessary.
He did. He really had to look in the mirror and say, okay, I make videos, I don't save lives. And for a minute, he struggled with whether he should even be working.
But he and his partner, Anthony Simpkins, they pivoted.
They did. They realized that while art might not be essential in a medical sense, communication was absolutely vital.
They started doing safety messaging.
Yep. They helped businesses communicate how to reopen safely. They looked at their skill set and asked, how does this apply to the current problem? Instead of just saying, well, I guess I'll starve.
It's pure adaptation. Okay, I want to shift gears to technology.
After the holidays, there's so much to clean up and get ready for the coming year. This leaves me exhausted and a lot of things falling off my to-do list. It's time to lock in, and Omaha Steaks delivers everything you crave to reset after the holidays. An order from them means having high-quality Omaha steaks on hand at all times. I'm a big meat lover myself, and I always go with medium rare. But there's also plenty of poultry and other options available. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. A family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their end-of-season sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code YUM at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com, promo code YUM. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to www.omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide during their end-of-season sale. And use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply. Thanks to Omaha Steaks for sponsoring us.
Because Tim has some very strong opinions about how the device in our pocket, the Jesus phone as he calls it, is changing photography.
Destroying might be a strong word, but altering is definitely true. You have to remember, Tim comes from that super technical background. He loves complex compositions.
He wants an image you have to look at for 30 seconds.
Exactly, where your eye has to wander around to find all the details. But you can't do that on a tiny screen.
Right. If you have a wide shot with a tiny person in the background for scale on Instagram, that person is just a speck of dust.
You can't even see them. So what happens? Photographers stop taking that shot.
They start shooting for the screen.
They simplify, they center the subject, they turn up the contrast, they make it punchy so it stops the scroll.
We're losing the subtlety.
We're losing that Where's Waldo style of photography because the canvas got too small.
That makes me a little sad. We're sort of dumbing down the art to fit the frame.
It is a bit sad, but Tim actually had a surprisingly optimistic take on social media changes, like when Instagram experimented with hiding like counts.
Oh, right. Removing the public metric.
Tim calls the like button a slot machine. You pull the lever, you post the photo, and you wait to see if you win the dopamine.
It's an addiction loop.
Totally. He thinks removing it would be fantastic because it would flesh out all the people who are only there for the gambling.
The influencers leave, the artists stay.
That's the hope. Yeah. He made an even more interesting comparison between Instagram and TikTok.
Oh, I loved this point because, I'm old and I usually just dismiss TikTok as that dancing app.
Right, but Tim sees it as a filmmaker. He pointed out that while Instagram democratized photography, it made everyone a photographer.
Sure, camera in every pocket.
TikTok is democratizing video editing.
Okay, unpack that. What's the real distinction there?
Well, think about what a kid is doing on TikTok. They aren't just pointing a camera, they're cutting to the beat. They're using transitions, layering audio, understanding pacing and rhythm.
These are complex filmmaking skills.
They are. Skills that used to require a $5,000 computer and special software. Now, 12-year-olds are doing it with their thumbs. We're raising a generation of editors.
Wow. It's technical literacy disguised as a viral dance challenge.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so we've got the business, we've got the tech. Let's look at the work itself. Tim's channel, Gems on VHS.
And this is where it all comes together. The rejection of the perfect image, the search for the why. Gems on VHS films acoustic sessions with musicians.
But they do not look like music videos.
Not at all. They look like memories.
That's a good way to put it.
Tim calls the vibe compatriots for a day. He doesn't just show up, set up lights, and hit record. He goes on an adventure with the artist.
An adventure? Like?
Oh, yeah. They're trespassing on property. They're climbing up onto rooftops, hopping fences.
Sounds like a liability nightmare, to be honest.
It probably is. But the goal is to capture a moment recorded rather than a shoot. He wants you to feel like you're just hiding in the room, witnessing something private and real.
It's about honesty.
Always.
And that search for honesty, for that raw reality, is what leads us to the most unexpected part of this entire conversation.
It is a bit of a turn.
Yeah, I'm just going to warn the listeners. We are going from acoustic guitars in Nashville to cockfighting in the Philippines.
It sounds like a jarring jump, doesn't it? But if you follow Tim's logic, it actually makes sense. If you're obsessed with documenting human nature without a filter, you're going to find the ugly parts.
So he's working on a documentary called Cock Curious.
Yes. And before everyone recoils, he is not endorsing the sport. He's approaching it like an anthropologist. He wants to understand the culture behind it.
Is the why question again. Why do people do this?
Specifically, he's looking at the paradox of it. And this is the deep insight. He compares it to dog sighting rings in the U.S.
Okay.
He notes that the people involved often claim to love these animals. They hand feed them, they groom them, they treat them like royalty, and then they put them in a ring to kill each other.
Wow. It's that dual nature of humanity. We are capable of immense care and immense violence, sometimes toward the same creature.
That's what he wants to capture. Not just the blood, but the confusing, contradictory psychology of the people watching it. He's not looking away just because it's uncomfortable.
It's really intense. Mm-hmm. But he also seeks out discomfort in physically exhausting ways, too.
Yeah.
We have to end on the story of the Tennessee walking men.
This is my favorite anecdote because it's just so delightfully inefficient.
So Tim and two friends have this realization that they know the geography of Arizona better than they know their own home state of Tennessee.
Which happens to a lot of us, right? We fly over our own homes to go visit somewhere else.
So a rational person would say, let's take a road trip.
But Tim says, let's walk across the entire state.
And not in a straight line. They zigzagged from the Kentucky border down to the southern border, all the way across.
Imagine the visual here. You're driving down some rural highway, and you see three guys who clearly aren't hikers on the Appalachian Trail. They are just three smelly dudes walking on the shoulder of the road.
And that vulnerability changed everything. Tim said because they were walking, because they were so exposed, people interacted with them completely differently.
They got invited into strangers' homes for dinner, slept on porches.
If they'd been in a car, none of that happens. The car is a bubble.
Exactly. The car seals you off. Walking opens you up. It actually goes back to the farmer mentality in a way. You have to be out in the field, planting seeds of connection. You can't understand your subject or your client if you're just speeding past them at 70 miles per hour.
That is a profound thought to wrap up on. Slow down, get out of the car, plant the seeds.
And stop worrying about the flight checklist if you'd rather be reading the camera manual.
So if we boil this all down for the learner listening right now, someone who wants to apply this tomorrow, what are the 3 big takeaways?
Okay, first, technical skill is just the entry fee. Don't stop at, how do I make this? You have to push through to, why does this matter? That's what the value is.
Second,
adopt the farmer mentality. Just accept that there's a lag time between your effort and the reward. Start planting seeds today for the harvest 6 months from now.
And finally,
embrace imperfection. You know, whether it's removing the likes from your social media feed or walking down a dirty roadside, the real gold is found in the messy, uncurated parts of life.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I have one final rapid fire fact for you before we go. We asked Tim the desert island question. Stranded, one tool, a gimbal, which stabilizes the camera, or a drone.
Oh, he didn't even hesitate. The drone.
Why?
Composition. A gimbal just smooths out your human walking. It's still at eye level. A drone gives you a perspective you physically cannot get on your own. It opens up a whole new way of seeing.
And for Tim, seeing is everything.
It is.
If you want to see what Tim sees, you can find him online. His handle is Timothy Ariel. His agency is Five Folds Creative. And please go watch Gems on VHS. That stands for
everybody,
Diamonds on
Chris
Tape
here.
on YouTube.
Before you go, if you enjoy our work and want to support what we do at Make It,
until next time,
please
be better,
subscribe
be
to the
creative,
Make It
be
Podcast
engaged.
channel on YouTube.
Thank you for listening.
And rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have terrific tees, hoodies, hats, and more at cottonbureau.com. Just search for the Make It Podcast and our store will come right up. If you have feedback for us, email us at contact@bonsai.film or find all things Make It at our Beacons AI site at www.themakeitpodcast.store. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X at _Make It Podcast. You can find us on Facebook just by searching for The Make It Podcast. And until next time, and on behalf of the team at Make It, be better, be creative, be engaged, and thank you for listening.